How do you feel about the Olympics just as a whole? Are you a fan of the Olympics?
Yeah. I mean, I wish.
Yeah, the tone in your voice wasn't really that.
I mean, I wish they weren't. They weren't doing it during a pandemic because now they had to like remove the fans.
Yeah.
In Tokyo, so I guess the numbers weren't as bad when it started as to where it is now. So obviously that doesn't make anything better. So I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably tune in, of course, but to the basketball. But I don't know if I'm watching 400-meter dashes.
It's funny you bring up that one because those are the only ones that I watch.
Fascinating.
I watch the track and field. That's dope to me. When I think of Summer Olympics, I think of the 100, 200, and the 400-meter races.
That's dope.
Besides that, like, it doesn't... the other thing is, to get somewhat political, to get somewhat political, anytime a country builds for the Olympics... when it leaves, it's a nightmare, bro. Dude, where Greece in 2004 was such a big thing, like the Olympics is returning home to, where it originated and shit. And the place where they did the synchronized swimming became like an abandoned lot.
Same thing happened in Brazil.
Yeah, it happens. And it just, the citizens of the country, they despise it because all that money's going into making it a tourist attraction and more to cater for the rest of the world as opposed to like the people that are struggling in that country.
Yeah.
Like my family in Greece fucking hated it. So I can speak to that because I saw it from experience. But then I had an uncle who owns a hotel and he was like, yo, we've to this day have never had more success. But then, like, my family who's not as fortunate, they're like, yo, it was whack.
Yeah.
It sucked. We're living in, I don't want to say poverty, but in bad conditions. And then you have all this money being fixed to, like, Olympic Stadium and all this shit. And it happened to Brazil with the World Cup and that. I'm a believer, and this is going to sound super, like, nationalist, but every major tournament event should be in the United States because they never need to build anything. Sochi, they had to build all those stadiums. In Tokyo, they were making the changes too. Where like in the United States, bro, there's college stadiums that fit 90,000 people.
There's other countries around the world that have the infrastructure already. So I see what you're saying. Put it into a place where you don't have to build a bunch of shit.
Go to Germany, right? Germany's going to be the next Euro Cup in 2024. They don't need to build anything
They have
new.
50 stadiums across this country.
Yeah, and they had the World Cup in 2006 also. So it's like they don't need to put... Yeah, they might like revamp a couple things, but they're not tearing down neighborhoods to build a new stadium.
Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, I don't want to speak out of my ass, but I'm sure there's a lot of shady shit going on behind the scenes.
Oh, I mean, like the Qatar World Cup is like super duper controversial.
Yeah. So, a funny story. Hudson Yards on the west side of Manhattan in New York City. That whole area was actually developed because of the Olympics in New York City.
Oh, wasn't it where the Jets were going to put their stadium?
So supposedly, and I have some inside information here, but
let's go. # Source Life.
No, for sure. The guy who essentially helped develop Hudson Yards, who was basically Bloomberg's right-hand man, at the time when Bloomberg was the mayor of New York City, they knew early on when they were putting the bid in for the Olympics, they knew they were going to get the Olympics. But what they did kind of believe in is that west side of Manhattan area, which is now Hudson Yards, which is just a bunch of train tracks and not much else. Abandoned warehouses, train tracks, all of that.
And now it's like a dope spot to be in.
And they knew, right? They knew that they weren't going to win the Olympics, but they proceeded with all of the bids and going through all of the bullshit because, okay, we're not going to build the Olympics. We have all of these plans and these ideas. Fuck it, we're going to build something else. So I'm sure other shit like that happens too, where these countries or these cities are making a play for something and they probably know they have no chance, but it's the idea and the belief within this specific area to do something else with it, maybe for selfish reasons or not, like.